Will I have God's salvation by grace or works? Imagine two best friends, Sarah and Mark, in the middle of a giant sunlit field. They're both holding letters, one saying grace and the other works. They're confused but eager to learn. Together, they decide to dive deep into the Bible to find out which path is the right one for salvation. Sarah's journey through grace. Sarah sat under an old tree and read from her Bible, Ephesians 2:8-9. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God. She felt like the sun was shining a bit lighter on her. She remembered the parable of the prodigal son in Luke 15, a son who took his father's money, wasted it, and came back expecting to be in trouble. Instead, his father welcomed him with open arms. This was unconditional love. This was grace. Example: imagine someone gave you the last slice of pizza even though you didn't deserve it. That's a tiny bit like grace. Mark's adventure with works. While Sarah was thinking about grace, Mark was flipping through the Bible and stumbled upon James 2:14-26. It said, "Faith without works is dead." He scratched his head, trying to understand. He then read about Noah in Genesis. Noah believed God, but also built an ark to save his family and animals from the flood. He had faith and showed it through his actions. Example: if you say you love plants but never water them, do you really love them? Actions show our true feelings. The big discussion. In a dream, Sarah and Mark saw the Apostle Paul and the Apostle James having a friendly argument. Paul said, quoting Romans 3:28, "One is justified by faith apart from works," while James believed that faith needed actions to be real. Mark turned to Sarah, whispering, "Maybe both are important. Maybe grace and faith fit together like pieces of a puzzle." The story of two builders. Sarah remembered the story from Matthew 7. One builder built his house on solid rock and the other on loose sand. When storms came, only the house on the rock stood firm. It's not enough to hear good things, you have to do good things too. But Mark thought about the thief on the cross next to Jesus, Luke 23. Without doing any good deeds, the thief believed in Jesus and was promised heaven. Faith alone mattered here. Example: it's like hearing about how to ride a bike versus actually getting on and pedaling. Both understanding what they are doing, and it's important. A wise elder's insight. An old man with kind eyes approached them. "Kids," he said, "remember Romans 6:14? You are under grace. Grace is like a gift you get on your birthday. But what do you do with that gift? How do you use it or take care of it? That's like your works. It's like getting a new toy. The toy is the gift, grace. But how you play with it or how you share it with others, that's your action, works. The challenge of grace alone." Sarah and Mark, after understanding the balance of grace and works, wanted to delve deeper. Sarah, while walking near a serene river, remembered the tale of King Solomon. Even though God graced him with unmatched wisdom, 1 Kings 3-12, his heart later strayed, seduced by foreign gods due to his many marriages, 1 Kings 11:1-6. God's grace was abundant, Sarah thought, but without consistent actions in line with God's will, even Solomon faltered. It's like getting a brand new bike as a gift, but if you never maintain it or use it properly, it'll rust and break down. The pitfalls of works alone. Mark, while climbing a small hill, was reminded of the Pharisees, the religious leaders of Jesus' time. They were meticulous in their works, adhering to every law. However, Jesus criticized them, saying, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside you are full of greed and self-indulgence." Matthew 23:25. Mark realized that without genuine love and grace in his heart, even the most diligent works might be empty. Imagine diligently doing all your homework but never understanding or enjoying the subject. The work becomes hollow. Sarah and Mark's shared insight. As they sat around a campfire, Sarah said, "Solomon's downfall shows that grace alone without active commitment might not sustain us." Mark nodded, adding, "And the Pharisees? Their actions lack true heart. Works without the right intent lack value." They both recognized the profound truth from Galatians 5:6. "For in Jesus Christ neither circumcision nor uncircumcision counts for anything, but only faith working through love." It was clear, grace and works were two sides of the same coin. One without the other might lead to a path of incompleteness. The tale of the incomplete bridge. Imagine two towns separated by a vast river, he began. One town represents grace and the other works. The townsfolk wanted to connect, so from the grace side they began building a bridge. The work side did the same, but neither side completed their half and the bridge remained unusable. He continued, "It's only when they work in harmony, meeting in the middle, that people could cross safely." Think of a zipper. One side alone can't close the jacket. Both sides need to interlock for it to work. Sarah and Mark, enlightened by their journey, realized that focusing on either grace or works alone had its drawbacks. Relying solely on grace might lead to complacency, while depending solely on works could result in a heart devoid of genuine love. As dawn approached, they pledged to let grace guide their hearts and let their works be the manifestation of that grace, always remembering that both are essential in the journey of faith. Thank you for walking alongside Sarah and Mark on this enlightening journey. May we always strive for balance in our faith, understanding the value of both grace and works. Under the twinkling stars, Sarah and Mark realized that it's not about choosing one over the other. Both grace and works are relevant. Grace is the starting point, and our good actions show that grace is in our lives. Don't forget to tune into Bible Short Stories for more tales from the Bible. See you next time, and always let your heart be your guide. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Better yet, let us know what videos you'd like to see next from us in the comments section. Bible Short Stories, signing off.